Hello everyone, welcome to today's session of GATE classes. As we are discussing from last 2 days about the timber, let us continue the same topic as it has not yet finished. I will try to finish this today. Let us see how much we can complete. Okay, these are the contents: timber, macrostructure, microstructure, defects in timber, preservation, physical properties, chemical properties, seasoning of timber, types of seasoning, and at last we have MCQs on timber. Okay, in these all contents, we have already discussed in the previous two classes about timber, macrostructure, its microstructure, and the various types of defects in timber, and how it is to be preserved. Right. Preservation also we have discussed. Then we have discussed physical properties. Okay. So let us discuss in the today's class the chemical properties of timber, then seasoning of timber and types of seasoning. If possible, we will discuss the MCQs also. Okay. So I don't think we require brush up of day before yesterday's class. Okay. In the day before yesterday's class, we had discussed timber, macrostructure, microstructure, and the two types of defects in timber. Right. So I will just brush up what we have discussed in the yesterday's class only. Okay. Timber, macrostructure, then these were the types of macrostructure. Then we have microstructure. Three types of cells will be there in microstructure, that is conductive cell, mechanical cell, and storage cells. Then these are the defects in timber. In the day before yesterday's class, we have discussed defects due to conversion and defects due to fungi. In the yesterday's class, we had started from the defects due to insects. Okay, defects due to insects, defects due to natural forces, and defects due to seasoning we have discussed in the yesterday's class, and some other topics also. In defects due to conversion, we have chip mark, diagonal grain, torn grain, vein, and defects due to fungi. We have two conditions if defects should be happen on the fungi. One is moisture content should be more than the 20%, and second one is if the environmental condition is such that there are chances of happening of fungi. Such in the this one environmental condition, in the sense there should be air and warmthness. If that is there, then there will be attack of fungi. If those two conditions are there, then only there will be a attack of fungi. Okay, in types of defects due to fungi, we have blue stain, brown stain, dry rot, hard rot, sap stain, wet rot, white rot. Okay, these were the defects due to fungi. In defects due to insects, we have and there are three main types of insects, because of which the defect may happen in the timber. The beetles, marine borers, and termites. These are the three types of insects, because of which mainly the defect happens due to insect in the timber. In next, we have defect due to natural forces. In defect due to natural forces, we have burls, callus, chemical stain, coarse grain, dead wood, drugsiness, foxiness, knots, rindgalls, shakes, twisted fibers, upset, water stain, and wind cracks. Okay, these are the 14 types of defects due to natural forces that we have in the timber. Next, we have defects due to seasoning. In defects due to seasoning, we have bow, case hardening, check, collapse, cup, honeycombing, radial shape, split, twist, and warp. Okay, these are the 10 types of defects due to seasoning. We have not yet discussed what is seasoning. That we will discuss today. Then we have preservation. Timber can be preserved in these 5 types. First, we have tar, paints, chemical salt, creosote, and asco. In tar, what we will do? Hot coal tar is taken and it will be applied on the body of the timber. Okay, this is the cheapest way of doing this one preservation, but it is not, it will not give any good aesthetic view. It looks bad, so that's why it is used only in unimportant works. Next, we have paint. 2 to 3 coats of paints can be applied on the timber so as to avoid the defects due to various reasons. Okay, so from time to time the paint can be applied on the timber. Next, we have chemical salt. Okay, some of these chemicals can be added into the salt, and that this one mixture can be applied on the timber to preserve it. Those salts are copper sulfate, masonry chloride, zinc chloride, and sodium fluoride. Okay, these are the salts that can be used. Next we have creosote. Okay, in creosote, there is no much difference between the preservation due to tar and preservation due to, by creosote. The only difference is there will take directly tar, and here will take distillation of coal tar. Okay, here we are taking distillation of coal tar, and it is and then we are taking airtight chamber, and that in that airtight chamber we are keeping the this one timber, and then we are pumping this one creosote. We are then we are pumping that distilled coal tar with a pressure of 0.8 to 1 Newton per mm square. Okay, at a temperature of 50 degrees Celsius, and it is done for around 1 to 2 hours. Then after that we can take out the timber. Next we have ASCO. Uh, this preservation is developed by the Forest Research Institute, Dehradun. Here they are telling to take one part of the hydros arsenic pentoxide, then 3 parts of the copper sulfate, 4 parts of the potassium dichromate or sodium dichromate. Okay, this in this part we have to take and we have to mix, and it will be made a powder. Okay, then this powder can be made with this powder can be added in 6% to the water. Okay, if we are taking 100 liters of water, around 6 kgs of this powder can be taken, and we can make a solution of it. Okay, and then it can be applied on the timber to preserve it. Okay, next we have discussed physical properties. Okay, specific gravity we have discussed. Okay, in specific gravity we have discussed one very important thing, that is about the annular rings. Okay, annular rings or growth rings that we have in the timber. If those growth rings or annular rings are near to each other, it means that the wood is very dense in nature. If it is dense in nature, the weight of the wood will be more, and the strength of the wood also will be more. Okay, and and that annular rings also indicates the age of the wood. Okay, so if those are near, the age is more, strength is more, then the specific gravity also will be more. Okay, if suppose those annular rings are far to each other, okay, it means that the this one the wood has or the tree has grown in a faster way. That's why the annular rings will be far to each other, because based on the annular ring we are predicting the age also, so we can get to know if those annular rings are far to each other and the thickness of the timber is more, then it means the age is less and it has grown in a faster way. And if those rings are far to each other, then the strength, weight, and specific gravity of the timber will be less. Okay, that way those things we have discussed in the specific gravity. In the thermal properties, we have seen that though it is the timber is insulator. Okay, and it is a not a good conductor of heat, and it is an insulator. The defects may happen due to the exposed temperature if it is more than 100 degree Farad for long period. Okay, then we have seen it is environmental friendly, because the wood can be is a degradable material. Okay, if so if we left out, then it will degrade and it will not affect to the environment. Okay, it is a environmental friendly material, and it is a renewable resource, like wind energy, solar energy, and all. If once it is over, then it can be grown once again, so hence it is a renewable material. Then we have seen it is plentiful and growing supply, right? So we can grow how much we want. It is in our hand, how much we want we can grow, and we can control this timber. Next we have strong and lightweight. So compared to the weight and its strength, the this timber is a good material compared to steel and concrete. Those steel and concrete are having good strength compared to wood, but their weights are also more. Okay, when we are comparing weight and strength, timber is a good material. Okay, these were the things that we had discussed in the yesterday's class and day before yesterday's class. Let us start with the chemical properties. Okay, though wood is a chemically inert and compared to other materials, but is affected by some acids and bases. It means that this one timber is a inert material. It is having resistance powers to resistance power towards the chemical attack. Okay, if there is any chemical action, the timber is having power or the ability to resist that, but still there are some acids and bases which can attack the timber. Some species have proven very useful for good containers, berry boxes and crates, because they are non-toxic and impart no taste to the food contained therein. It means that because of the timber is having or the wood is having resistance to the chemical action, so it can be used for storing the food or any food material. Okay, so any type of food or food material can be stored in the wood boxes or the timber boxes. Yeah, and also it is non-toxic in nature, because of which it will not incorporate or add any kind of a taste to the food material or the food which is contained in it. That's why this timber can be used for food as a food containers. Wood structure have also found widespread use of storage facilities and salt and fertilizer chemicals. Okay, to store the any kind of store as a storing material, the timber can be used, and also it can be used for storing the salt and fertilizer chemicals. Okay, so here we have two types of this one chemical action. One is dry rot and another one is wet rot. Okay, so in dry rot, first we have the turning of timber tissues to almost a dry powder by fungi is called dry rot. The fungus feed upon the wood and eats the wood tissues, thus penetrating the wood fiber from the all direction. Okay, dry rot we have already seen in the previous defects we have seen. So here what happens, the attack of fungi will be there, and it will convert the it will eat up the all tissues of the timber, and it will convert it to the dry powder. Okay, from all the direction it can attack. Now the prevention for that is well seasoned timber should be used. What is seasoning of timber is the next topic that we will discuss in very detail. Seasoning of timber we are discussing in much in detail. In the there we can understand what is the seasoning of timber. Next, timber should be used where there is a free circulation of and excess of air. Okay, so the timber should be kept where there is a proper circulation of air and access to the air. If that is not there and wetness and dampness is there, then definitely there will be attack of fungi. As I told you, there are two conditions: either there should be more than 20% of moisture content in the timber, or the timber should be exposed to the environment where the fungus can attack. Okay, those are the two conditions. The second prevention says that only that it should be in a well circulated area. It should not have any dampness or warmthness. Coming to the remedy, the timber should be painted with a solution of copper sulfate. Okay, if we are painting with the help of copper sulfate, it can prevent the attack of this fungi. The high temperature of seasoning of kill helps in killing the fungi. Okay, so this seasoning of kill helps in killing the fungi. It means this is also one type of seasoning of timber. So seasoning by kill, that also we will discuss in the coming slides. Next we have wet rot. The disintegration of tissue of timber due to alternate wetting and drying is called wet rot. The attack takes place through the wounds in the bar, which gives access to the water. It means here we have discussed wet rot also. It means if there is a alternate drying and wetting, drying and wetting, drying and wetting to the timber, then this type of disintegration of tissues happen. Okay, disintegration of tissues, if these are happening, then it will lead to the defect. It is also a chemical, it can also be classified under the chemical action. Okay, then prevention: all timber for exterior or underground work should be first properly seasoned and then coated with tar to keep out the dampness. Okay, so if you are using for underground or exterior works, it should be properly seasoned. Okay, then it can be kept it can be coated with the this one tar. If we are keep coating with the tar, then it will avoid the dampness. Even there is a dampness on the beauty on the timber, it will not affect to the timber because there is a coating of tar on the timber. And then the best remedy for the treating wet rot is by using suitable preservatives. Now let us start the seasoning of timber. which is very important and also interesting topic. From day to day, most people have some contact with seasoned timber. Okay, from childhood days, wooden cots and toys, to school desks, and eventually to wooden furniture and flooring in homes or places of employment. Seasoned timber is to be found. Yet, how many people really understand what seasoning timber is? So many people are in contact with the timber since their childhood only. So starting from the toys which are made up of timber or the wood, and from the school desk or the furniture or flooring, whatever it is, we are in contact with the timber. Okay, but we don't know what seasoning of timber is. Only when crack appear in furniture or floor, or when a door shows some degree of warping, is any thought given to this concept. Okay, so it is to be regretted that even some people associated with the timber trade have little knowledge what seasoned timber is and the best method of obtaining it. Okay, though we are in contact with the timber, we don't have much knowledge about the timber, and we are not knowing about what seasoning of timber is. Okay, so we will get to know only when we will see any cracks into that, or we will see only when there is a warping of that. What is warping? If there is a change of shape. Okay, if there is a change in the shape of that, then only we can see that. My voice is not audible. Are you people able to listen me?
Yes, sir.
Hello, can you listen me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
but here one person has sent me, sir, your voice is not audible. That's why I'm asking. EA11, roll number 11 from A section. Pranita Jadhav. My voice is audible, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let us continue. What is seasoned timber? Okay, so let us see what is seasoned timber now. The process of drying out the water from wet or green timber is termed seasoning, or more simply drying. Okay, so what is seasoning? Seasoning is nothing but drying out of the timber, drying out of the water from the wet or green timber. So when you cut the tree, okay, when you cut a tree from a forest and when you bring it to the your site, so at that time when it is still in a the timber will be still in a wet condition, or it is in a dry this one green condition, it contains water. Okay, as it is freshly cut and brought, it contains water in it. Okay, though it is a either it will be wet or it will be green. If it is green, then definitely there is a water in that. So the process of drying of water which is there inside the timber is called seasoning of timber, or it can be called as drying of timber. Water is just an essential to the life of a tree, as it is for all living matter. Together with the various materials, it enters through the roots of the tree and it carried in the sapwood, the outer woody part of to the leaves. The food, that is sugar and starch, are made in the leaves by the photosynthesis and are transported in the solution down to the inner bark to the growing cell. The whole trunk of the tree is made up of cells, which are like small tubes having walls of cellulose and a more or less hollow cavity filled with the water and other material known as sap. Okay, here in this paragraph we have okay, the all living beings are made up of water. Okay, even the tree, this one contains water, even the tree. So when the tree in the tree, the water gets from the root. Okay, from the roots we are taking the water and other material. It is being transported through the root, through the stem to the branches and leaves. In the this one leaves, the food will be prepared by this photosynthesis. Okay, sugar and starch will be prepared, which will be sent back to all other parts of the tree as a food. Okay, so in that way, in the so in that, when it is transported, okay, the whole stem of the tree contains cells. Okay, those cells are having a wall of cellulose in the surrounding, and in between it is having a cavity. Okay, the cells are having cavity. Okay, the food which is transferred will be sent to the all the parts of the this one tree. Okay, so this one will be there, that food will be there, or the starch or sugar will be there in the cavities of the cells. Okay, consequently, when the tree is felled and the resulting log is sawn into the timber, the sawn section consists of innumerable small cells containing water. Drying the moisture out of the wood enhance the properties to such an extent that the resulting timber is given a special name, seasoned rather than dried, although the terms are identical. See, when the tree is fell down, okay, when you are cutting a tree, or either it is fell down or you have cut it, when you will cut and see inside. Okay, if you have a stem, when you cut and see inside, so inside part, okay, in the cross section you can see there will be a water. Okay, small wetness you can see, or you can see the water drops of very very small water drops, or if water drops are not there, if you touch you can feel the wetness, if the tree is freshly cut. Okay, that is because, as I told you in the previous paragraph, uh, there will be when you cut this one wood, inside the cells will be there. The whole stem will be made up of cells, and the wall of the cell is made up of this one cellulose, and inside it is having a cavity. Okay, that cavity contains water, okay, or the food. So when you are cutting, you can see that water is out, or you can feel the wetness when you are cutting. Okay, so the removing of that water from the timber is called seasoning, or it can be told as drying. Both seasoning and drying, both the terms are identical only, but this process is so important that, okay, this process is so much important that we have given another name, that is called as seasoning. But seasoning and drying both are same only. Okay, why is timber seasoned? Okay, why we are going to do the seasoning of timber? The seasoning of timber causes many changes in its properties, and in practically every case the change is an improvement. There is only one principal advantage in drying timber, namely the loss of volume due to shrinkage. However, by a correct understanding of the shrinkage of timber, this effect can be minimized and the timber can be confidently used without fear of adverse behavior subsequently in service. Okay, so why we are seasoning the timber, why we are drying the timber, or why we are removing the water from the timber body? It is because the reason that when you are having a timber, or when you have cut and brought the timber or wood from the site, or the from the site, so at that time what are the properties of timber that we have are not much as we require when we are making a commercial product. Okay, when the timber is dried, so it improves all the properties, whatever the properties are there of the timber. All the properties of the timber can be improved by seasoning or by drying, except one. Only one disadvantage is there of seasoning, that is the shrinkage of timber. So when we are drying, so we have discussed in yesterday's class about the shrinkage. Okay, when we are doing the seasoning, outer part will get shrink as it is exposed to the atmosphere, right? I told you in the yesterday's class, the outer surface will get dried, and it will get shrink, and inside part will be still wet. Okay, so outside tension will happen and inside compression will happen, that we discussed in the yesterday's class. So that is because of seasoning, as I told yesterday. So today you can understand that better. So here the shrinkage may happen due to drying, but as we understand shrinkage well, so that can be minimized by taking some precautions and remaining all the properties except shrinkage. All the properties of the brick this one all the properties of the timber can be improved by seasoning or drying. Now coming to the types of seasoning, we have natural seasoning. Okay, this natural seasoning can come under the methods of seasoning also. After types of seasoning, we have methods of seasoning. There is no much difference between the types of seasoning and methods of seasoning. Method is a method, and types we have only this one. We can say types. Okay, natural seasoning. First is air seasoning. It may be air seasoning or water seasoning. Okay, natural seasoning we have two. First is air seasoning, then we have water seasoning. Air seasoning is carried out in a shed with a platform. On about 300 high platform, timber barks are stacked as shown. Okay, you can see here it is air seasoned. Okay, and it is kept in a open air for drying. Okay, you can see to here in this picture you can understand better. Okay, here top roof is there. Okay, and from all the four sides, uh, all the four sides it is open. Okay, in all the four sides it is open. At the bottom you can see there is a block piers. Okay, you can see there is a block piers which is kept. It is kept because when you are keeping the timber, it should not come in contact with the ground. Okay, it should be above the ground. That's why block piers will be there. Above the block piers we are keeping the timber to dry. Okay, after the block pier we have battens. Okay, battens, you might have studied in your this one, which subject? Materials of construction. I don't think in Sholapur University that subject is there, or it is incorporated with other subject. Uh, we in Karnataka we have that one subject in VTU University, strength of this one, construction materials. In that we can study in detail about the battens and okay, so battens will be kept. Above the battens we are keeping all the timbers in layers. Okay, batten will be there, and then we will keep the timber. Then above that, again batten, again timber, batten, timber, batten, timber. One above the other, another we are keeping the timber stacks. Okay, and that battens are of the thickness of 15 by 25 sticks to uh, airflow. Okay, so when we why we are keeping these battens is nothing but there should be circulation of air from the in between. Okay, so no this one, no timber should be in contact with the another. All the timbers which we are keeping for drying should not be in contact to each other. Okay, so in between each of the timber there will be a batten. Okay, when it is kept outside like this, so because of circulation of air from the in between from all the four sides, the timber will get dry. Okay, and at the top the roof will be provided to so that the rain should not come in contact with the timber if there is a raining. Okay. Care is taken to see that there is a proper air circulation around each timber bark over a period. In a natural process, moisture content reduces. A well-seasoned timber contains only 15% moisture. This is a slow but a good process of seasoning. Okay, what is happening in air seasoning? It takes long time. It takes much more time compared to other types of seasoning, but it will do it. It does it works in a well way. Okay, and the moisture can be reduced up to 15%. Okay, it's remember, if there is a more than 20% of moisture content in the timber, then there are chances of fungi. There I told you the two conditions, right? So here the what moisture content can be reduced up to 15%. Next we have second one, water seasoning. Water seasoning is carried out on the banks of river. Okay, the thicker end of the timber is kept pointing. Okay, in 10 minutes the meeting will get over. When it gets over, I will restart it again. You have to join it back. Okay, so in water seasoning it is carried out on the banks of river. The thicker end of the timber is kept pointing upstream side. After a period 2 to 4 weeks, the timber is taken out. During this period, sap contained in the timber is washed out to a great extent. The timber is stocked in a shed with a free air circulation. So here in water seasoning, what happening is, so this timber we are putting it into the river banks. Okay, we are putting into the river banks. So the thicker end of the this one timber will be kept on the upstream, and the narrow end will be kept in the downstream. Okay, when you cut a tree, okay, when you cut a tree, the whole trunk or the stem, at the bottom it will be a thicker one, at the top it will be a narrow one, right? So how that this timber, how it is kept in the river is, so the thicker part will be kept in the upstream side from where the water is flowing. Okay, in the river bank. So the thicker part will be kept on that side, and the narrow end will be kept in the downstream side on which the air is, this one, water is flowing. Okay, when it is kept for 2 to 4 weeks in the river banks, the sap which is contained in the timber. Okay, sap is nothing but the water, this one, the food of the, this one, of the tree, right, will get washed away due to the water. Okay, then after that it can be air dried. Okay. Okay, here you can see in this picture it is kept in the river. Okay, you can see the timber here. Even you can see here also it is kept in the river banks for the water seasoning. With this picture you can understand the better you will get the clear idea about the water seasoning. Okay, then next we have artificial seasoning. In this method, timber is seasoned in a chamber with a regulated heat. Okay, controlled humidity and proper air circulation. Seasoning can be completed in 4 to 5 days only. Okay, so in artificial seasoning, we are not doing by a natural method. We are doing some artificial things. We are regulating heat, we are maintaining humidity, and we are passing the air into the in between that in an artificial way. Okay, in a artificial way, totally we are doing the seasoning. There are four methods in that. First is boiling, kiln seasoning, then chemical seasoning, and electrical seasoning. First one is boiling. In this method, timber is immersed in water, and then water is boiled for 3 to 4 hours. Okay, then it is dried slowly. Instead of boiling water, hot steam may be circulated on timber. The process of seasoning is fast but costly. Okay, here in boiling, what we will do, there will be a container. Okay, there will be a container. In that we will boil the water. Okay, water will be boiled, and in that the timber will be immersed. Okay, in a boiling water we are immersing the timber. Then uh, after that, when it is boiled for 3 to 4 hours, the timber can be taken out and it can be dried in air. Or otherwise, instead of boiling immersing it into the boiling water, we can also circulate the hot steam. Okay, in a controlled way to the timber. If we pass the hot steam, then that method also comes under the boiling. Okay. Okay, here in this picture you can see a person is boiling the timber to season it or to dry it. Okay, in a hot water. These containers are small. In this picture you can see small containers, but for large timbers or the big timber or the big trees and all, there will be large containers. Okay, next is kiln seasoning. Kiln is an artificial chamber. Timber to be seasoned is placed inside it. Okay, then fully saturated air with a temperature of 35 degrees Celsius to 38 degrees Celsius is forced in the kiln. Okay, here what we are doing, there is an artificial chamber. Okay, artificial airtight chamber. There will be an artificial airtight chamber. So inside that chamber we are keeping our timber, and in that we are passing a air with a temperature of 35 degrees Celsius to 38 degrees Celsius. Okay. The heat gradually reaches inside the timber. Then the relative humidity is gradually reduced and the temperature is increased and maintained till desired degree of moisture content is achieved. Okay, what we are doing, we are keeping it inside a kiln, right? It is a airtight chamber. So then we are putting a temperature. Then we are increasing the temperature to the 35 to 38 degrees Celsius, right? And then because of this temperature, the humidity is gradually reduced. Okay, then this temperature reaches inside the timber. Okay, it reaches inside the timber, and whatever the moisture content is there in the sap of the wood. Okay, whatever the moisture content is there, that will start to evaporate or it will get dried off. Okay, then it is done unless the desired moisture content in the timber is required. Okay, so it must be less than the 20%. Okay, it must be less than the 20%. Okay, till what percentage of moisture content is required, till that time this is continued. The kiln used may be stationary or progressive. In progressive kiln, the carriage is carrying the timber travel from one end of the kiln to another end gradually. The hot air is supplied from the discharge end so that the temperature increases in a gradual way from the charging end to the discharging end. This method is used for seasoning on a large scale. Okay, so here we have in the kiln seasoning two types are there. Okay, two types are there. One is stationary and second one is progressive. Okay, first is this one stationary and second one is progressive. In stationary, what happens here, also have a picture. Okay, this is a stationary kiln. In this stationary kiln, we are keeping the timber. Okay, okay, how we have kept in the air drying, right? In the first one, same way the air is, the timbers are kept in this, but in that it was open to the surrounding, it was open to the air. Here it is a closed container. In this we are keeping the timber. Okay, timber stacks will be kept. Then we have, then the steam jets are provided, and the this one temperature is increased. Okay, so you can see two arrow marks from in right side and the left side. Okay, so because of fan, that steam or the temperature rotates from one end, the steam the this one the air, hot air flows, and from another end it will come and it will rotate like this. From like that, from in between the timber, the air, hot air flows, and this is a stationary. Okay, here the timbers are kept in one place only. So when this process completes, the timber is taken out. But in the progressive kiln, it is not like that. In the progressive kiln, the difference is in the this one, in this one with the stationary kiln, the timbers are at one place only. But whereas in the kiln, progressive kiln, it is not like that. This the stacks of the timber moved from one place to another place. Okay, in you can see on the left hand side there is a timber in the right hand side you can see the timber out. Okay, from the timber in we are putting the timber inside. Okay, it is like an inlet from where the timber is pushed inside, and from the timber out, okay, the timber will be taken out. Okay, the timber will be taken out. Okay, there are two things here. One is from one side it is an inlet, and another side it is a outlet. Okay, you can see on the top side of the left hand side there is air out. Okay, there is a air out, and there you can see on the top there is a air in. Okay, that is the direction of flow. You can see the from air in, it means from there the hot air is pushed. Air is pushed near the timber out. Okay, from the outlet, the this one hot air is given inside the kiln. Why? Because when it is going, the area near the timber out will be more hot. Okay, the total area near the timber out is hotter, and near the timber in it is slightly cooler, because the heat transfer is taking place from the outside timber out to the timber in. Okay, because the we are putting the hot air near the timber out. That's why the region near the timber out will be hotter, and near the timber in will be cooler, and the timber is transported from timber into the timber out slowly. Okay, as it required, it will be moving. Okay, so when near the timber out, it as the temperature is more, as till it reaches the timber out, the moisture content in the timber will completely get reduced. Okay, so what is the percentage of moisture we want, it will reach till it comes the timber out. Okay, near the timber in it will be less, the warm air will be less. This is the progressive kiln.